Hi, I'm Dean DeMarzo.
And I'm Tori DeMarzo.
And this is Relatively in Tune, where we talk to creative people and the people close to them. We are in kind of a new studio. For those of you watching, for those of you listening, we're in exactly the same place. We spent the day painting and adjusting things in here a little bit. We have a few more changes to make.
Yes, there's a table on our porch at the moment waiting to be built.
Yes, it was delivered literally like as we were setting up the interview we just recorded with Olivia DeCicci. So we did not have time to set it up, but the next episode we record, I think this green couch will be retired slightly. And by that, I mean just like in that corner of the room. Yeah. And we will be sitting at a nice table and chairs because we, I don't know, we have a specific vision in mind.
I think I am so pale that I blended into the wall and we couldn't really see the sign, so we got a new sign.
Yes, we have a brand new sign coming, because even now, if you're looking at this, it's totally washed out.
When we started this podcast, it was, I don't know. I mean, we didn't know what it was going to be or what it would become. And so this was our spare bedroom full of extra stuff we didn't unpack yet.
Right.
And so we quickly threw some stuff on a wall and ordered a few things from Amazon so that we could set it up in here and not have to constantly break it down all the time, like from our living room or from your studio. And it's great. Like, I think it worked fine and it looked okay. And there was just a bunch of stuff that I enjoyed in the background, but it really didn't speak to the podcast directly. And so I think this is going to be a lot better. I think it's going to hopefully look better on camera. We ordered a few new cameras, so hopefully the quality is better.
It's really exciting. And this is, I think it was time to do that because we have now made the jump from, this was kind of a fun thing we were trying out, to now this is your main full-time effort is being put into this podcast.
Yeah, since we did the episode with Amelia, I was talking about quitting my job, and I have quit my job.
That's right. You hadn't quit your job yet in this episode. Oh my gosh.
So I have officially quit my job, and I sort of work for you, and I am trying to, honestly, the podcast is taking up the majority of my time and the majority of my day, truly.
You were so worried you were not going to have anything to do all day.
I know.
We were making lists of like ways she could spend her time because she was going to have so much free time. She was going to go crazy. And instead, she finally understands. For years since I've been working for myself, it'll get to like 5 o'clock, end of the day. She would finish up her like actual day job, and I would wander out of my studio, and I'd be like, I got nothing done. There was barely any time. It flew by.
And I'm like, it took forever. I hate this job. It's making me cry. And I got yelled at 17 times. And you're like, I couldn't believe it was 4 o'clock. And I'm like, okay.
But now
I feel the
every
same
day
way.
Last week, you were like, where did the day go? I didn't do anything.
I know.
I edited all day. Yeah, you are
yeah.
absolutely doing things, but it feels like it flies by because, and it sounds so stupid, time flies when you're having fun, when you're doing the thing you love to do, when you care about what you're doing.
Which kind of brings us to our guest, Amelia, which is, she talked a lot about that in this podcast, and about how she loves doing music and how she wants to do it full time, and that it's fun for her, and her mom's name is Tori.
Yes. Oh, yes. That was so fun.
Which was really, really funny and also confusing. And especially when I was editing the whole time and you kept saying Tori, and I kept like thinking that you were saying it outside of editing. And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, wait, no, it's in the episode.
So that brings us to our actual episode with Amelia Day and her mother, Tori. Amelia Day is a wonderful singer, songwriter, all-around incredible musician and artist with a brand new song, Lady Los Angeles, coming out on August 22nd. So be sure to go to her Instagram profile and pre-save that one. You do not want to miss this. So without further ado, let's get into our interview with Amelia Day and her mother, Tori. Hi, I'm Dean DeMarzo.
And I'm Tori DeMarzo.
And this is Relatively in Tune, where we talk to creative people and the people close to them. Today our guest is Amelia Day, who is a wonderful singer-songwriter, composer, performer, just incredible all-around musician who has played some incredible festivals, opened for Theo Katzman on one of them, which is one of the coolest things. That's so cool. That's so cool. I'm going to ask about that a lot. And she's joined here by her mother, Tori, which is fun because that's also, Tori's name.
That's double Tori. Yeah.
Yes. So why don't the two of you introduce yourselves?
I am Amelia. I'm a folk rock artist, originally from the Seattle area, now living most of the time in Nashville. But this summer, I'm living at home with my mom. Woo! So I'm Tori Day, and I am Amelia's mom. I've known her entire life. I thought so, yeah. So I do graphic design. I am also a child advocate with the dependency system and enjoy music, obviously. Her music as well. And yeah.
As well.
Good, yeah. We're like, except for this kid. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a pretty good intro. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
We do this a lot. You'll probably see that. Yeah.
We say the same words at the same time.
It means you have a good relationship.
Yeah. Right off the bat, already, I could tell. I mean, you're in a creative field, graphic design. It's clear that runs in the family. Do you do any music as well? Do you have any musical background?
Yeah, I do. I took piano from like third grade until the end of my high school years. I kind of don't play very often now. I started trying to do piano again this fall, and then it just became almost like a burden though, and I was feeling guilty because I wasn't practicing, and then I was like, wait, this was supposed to bring joy, and this is not bringing joy, and so I'm like, I need to just take a break. Yeah. And then I do also sing. She and I actually sang together on our church worship team like years and years ago.
Aww.
And so it was really fun doing that.
It's like the first time that I performed like more solo rather than like in a choir setting.
Yeah. Would that be? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then I also did choir and musicals in high school, and I was in choir in college and stuff. So music is, I would say music's a pretty big part of like our whole family's life. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's the least musical, but he also loves music. Yeah. He's like a big, just like fan of.
And he was a marching band.
That's true.
Yeah, he was a marching band for, I mean, it's, tuba. So,
Tuba.
It's a really, one of those that you can take with you everywhere.
It's important, though.
Of course.
Yeah. Exactly. Gotta have the bass line.
Yes. So, Amelia, when did you start playing music then? It must have been, was it early, or did you rebel against it like I did?
Early. Well, kind of a combination of both, honestly. So I actually asked, you can correct me if I'm remembering anything incorrectly, which I probably will. But I asked to take piano lessons when I was like 4 or 5.
I think you were 4 when you asked, and then we waited until you were 5 because,
This makes so much sense because I have been saying it as 4 for years, but then I was talking to somebody, they were like, no, I think Dad. It was like, no, you didn't start taking until you were 5. I was like, I was sworn. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But basically I saw both of them playing piano and I thought it was the coolest thing, and I would like to just like kind of poke around on the keys. And so I was like, I want to learn how to do that. But then once I actually started taking lessons, I hate practicing. And that kind of stays true to today. That's always one of the things I'm like, I just want to like just do it. But no, practicing and rehearsing is incredibly important and usually a lot more fun once you actually get into it. But yeah, especially with like classical stuff, I hated doing my scales and arpeggios and all the like important skill-based things.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it was kind of a combination of wanting to do it really badly, but then also like hating to do what I actually am supposed to do once I'm in the lessons.
That's the journey. That's how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, you taught music for so long.
I taught guitar, bass, piano, and drums privately for like 12 years.
And like how many people practice? Like not a lot. Yeah.
None of them.
Yeah.
Not a
very
single
small
one.
Percentage.
Hundreds of students, probably 1,000, not one practiced consistently.
Yeah.
One.
That sounds about
there was
right.
this little girl. Bass was bigger than she was. She killed it. She was great. Just her.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
No one else.
She's going to go down in history.
Yeah.
She's probably like 12 now and like.
She's probably like 22 now.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Wait.
But anyway, so piano at 4 or 5, depending on who you ask. When did guitar enter the picture? Because you're a wonderful guitar player as well.
Thank you. I started playing guitar in 6th grade, I believe. And my grandma always had this guitar at her house when we would visit. They live and still live in Idaho. And so they just had this guitar in the basement that I just mess around with.
That's my story too.
Oh, no way. No way.
6th grade, guitar in my grandma's basement. Yep.
It's amazing.
Spot on.
Yeah, that guitar ended up being my guitar, my very first guitar. And apparently, I didn't know this at the time, but I had been like messing around with it the wrong way. Not necessarily the wrong way, but like I'm actually right-handed and I was doing like
Left hand.
playing it this way.
Oh my gosh.
naturally. And then I was like, oh, wait, that's actually like way harder than how I could actually play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, then I started, I didn't really take lessons until like a lot later, but I mostly was self-taught. And then we had some family friends or like my great uncle taught me some chords.
A little bit, yeah.
One day.
I think it was just, like somewhere around your middle school years. Are you thinking Uncle Dick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my uncle, my mom's sister's husband, like has, I don't know, like 7 guitars or something. And
more than me.
Yeah. He brought them out to my mom and dad's house and just kind of let her play around with them and taught her like a couple of different things. And from that point, she was just like, this is really cool, and started playing around with the one that my parents gifted her. And I think you did you do some like online stuff or something?
Well, I watched a lot of YouTube
videos. Yeah.
Very much self-taught. I think the first lessons I took were like, I wouldn't even call them, they were at the Y, and it was very
I
like,
forgot about that.
it was like a class of like 8 kids, and like we were learning, I don't even know, like We Will Rock You or something. Like,
Nice.
I wouldn't count
Yep.
that as real lessons. But yeah, I was self-taught all the way until like college, when I actually started taking like legitimate jazz guitar lessons.
Nice.
And yeah, that was super cool. That was super cool.
Talk about that then. I want to know, because I mean, I can hear it now that you've said that. There's so much cool harmony going on in your songs.
Thank you.
But like, where I have a big jazz guitar background too. What were you studying? Who are your influences on that? Who are your favorite players?
Oh my goodness. I honestly, I don't know as much as I probably should.
That's okay. It's okay.
Like, yeah. No, I wish I had better answers to that. I definitely have more inspiration in like jazz vocalists than I do like jazz guitar players. But I ended up getting a jazz voice performance concentration. But a lot of the credits that I got were actually through being in jazz guitar ensembles, because I was like, I feel fairly comfortable in like the jazz voice side of things and scatting and stuff, but I feel so uncomfortable with playing jazz guitar in an ensemble and taking solos and stuff. And so that was my way of kind of pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Yeah.
You're like,
And like having a greater vocabulary as far as, chords go, different inversions and voicings and stuff. It's one of those ways that forces you really to practice, because now you're playing in front of people in a group. You've got rehearsals every week. You don't want to make a complete fool of yourself. So,
and man, that gives you compositional superpowers. The fact
it
that you
really
can,
has helped. And I need to dive even further into it. I started taking some lessons online again, just in the last like few weeks. And I'm like, I want to really like study it and get more knowledgeable about like what I'm actually playing, instead of just like, this sounds cool. Which I think, a good base mode of operation. But
that's the important part, I'd say.
Yes. But some theory helps. Some knowledge of like, I am playing a C. I am playing,
it just sounds good.
Yeah, that's kind of how I generally operate when writing. So
I'd love to hear about the jazz vocal influences then.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I love the classics. I love listening to Ella, but I've been getting into some more like, there's this one jazz singer that I think really inspired me, and she's not even super well known. She should be more so. Her name's Samantha Sidley. She only has like one album out. One of the songs just randomly popped up on my Discover Weekly, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, I love her vocal tone. This is super fun. The lyrics are really clever. So then I ended up listening through the entire album, and then that became, for a summer, just like absolutely on repeat, like every gig that I was going to. Yeah.
She's like, you gotta listen to this one. That's how
I made her listen to the whole thing.
I find new music if
That's
she tells
good.
me, and then I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
That's about right. Yeah.
You're my source. Yeah, amazing.
My dad does that for me, so that's good.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
you gotta have a source. Like,
Yes.
I'm not great about that.
it is nice to, I mean, obviously be a musician, but have a lot of musician friends who are always like, man, like, you got to check out this album. Or like, I mean, they're releasing music themselves. So honestly,
Yes.
it feels like maybe a fifth of my like songs are like by my friends. And I like genuinely listen to them and, have them in the regular
awesome.
rotation, which is, super, super cool. It's really cool to get to see the process of creation from, an artist that I genuinely admire and look up to. But like, I'm like, I know where this was coming from as well, or saw like the early mixes, and yeah, it's cool.
I kind of agree with you. Through the podcast and also just like becoming friends with some of the people in New York City, all of my songs that I listen to on my playlist are people now that I've known or met or know through a friend. And it's really cool to be like, oh, they've been on the podcast, or like, oh, I've talked to them, and like watch them grow and go to release parties. It's like really fun to discover music that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I feel like, especially in Nashville, it seems like everyone within a genre or just a certain kind of friend group space like is 1 degree of separation at least, or at most maybe, I guess is what I was trying to say. It really does feel like more of a small town community than I would have thought initially going there, which is really cool to get to connect with people that, I mean, there's a few artists that I'm now like friends with or am friends with their friends that like I listened to in high school, and that's like really surreal.
Yeah,
that's been really cool.
I've had that moment a couple times, and it is really weird and really awesome.
They're just people, like everyone, like know that.
That's the thing.
Like,
everyone says that, but it really is just so true.
Yeah,
it's so true. Everyone is just people. Everyone is, freaking out about what they're going to wear that day, and they think the song they just wrote is terrible. And then they put it out, and it goes huge. But everyone's just people.
We're all very self-critical. Ideally, I mean, there's a lot of negatives to that too. But like, if you're then there's
a balance.
some
there's
other
a balance to
probably.
find.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Tell me about the move to Nashville. At what point in your career did that happen?
So it's funny you say that, because I moved there before I like really had any semblance of a career or any idea what I was doing. I moved there in part for school, but part of why I chose that school was also because, Nashville, Music City. And I anticipated that I would like the culture a lot better than New York, which is like crazy busy and super cool city. I've grown to really love it when I've been visiting more often. But I'm like, I still don't know if I would live there unless I had like a lot more financial stability to not, live in a little shoebox.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not the biggest fan of LA and the whole corporate feel of a lot of that kind of community as well. So I was like, I think I'm going to really like Nashville. And so when I moved there, like I didn't have any music out yet. I had no idea really how to record, no idea like working with producers or how you release things. And very much learned that while I was there, just talking to people, like grabbing coffee and then going to a bunch of house shows and meeting other college musicians, then like smaller venue shows and meeting people outside of the college circle and just kind of building it up from there. I'm like, man, it would be really tough to figure all that stuff out if I hadn't been in the city specifically. Because like the resources online, there are some really good like articles about how you should approach things, about marketing strategy and stuff. But a lot of things are very contradictory. Like you'll see just, searching a basic question on Google, like maybe one of the 5 articles, like I would now like agree with, and the rest are saying kind of the opposite of what you should be doing, or saying you should buy into this service to then do this. And I definitely like fell for some of that earlier on, like as far as like playlist submission stuff. Cause you think, you're just trying your best and think that's what you should be doing. But yeah, it is definitely a learning curve. But yeah, I didn't release my first song until like freshman year of college, which was, oh goodness, like 4.5 years ago when I released it.
2021.
Yeah.
February of 2021.
Yeah. So little less than 4.5 years ago. And
so
I was
did you just graduate college then?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
So it was, last May.
Nice.
Which is, it feels weird to say that now because it's been over a year, but it still feels like I'm like freshly out of school, so figuring everything out. I imagine I'll probably feel that for the next few years still.
We're 13
I'm
years
34
out,
and it still feels like that. Yeah, so yeah.
I feel like I just left.
Yeah, we're like just getting a handle on things now, I think.
Sort of.
Amazing.
Change, and you're like, no, wait, I just figured that out. Like, it won't change on me.
Yeah, now your kids graduate, and then and then they come back, and then you can't get rid of them. Get rid of them. We're like parasites. Yeah. So I've really loved being in Nashville generally, and I'll be heading back like mid-September. Cool. And I think this is my last like
longer period of time like living at home. I'll still be visiting as much as I can, and luckily have a lot of flexibility to do so with music stuff, as long as I don't have like rigid like I am, you know, recording here on these dates, or I'm writing with somebody, or, you know, playing gigs. But aside from that, like a lot of the work that I do, I can do pretty much anywhere. So I'm like, you can't get rid of me. Yeah. But no, I'll be like fully living in Nashville in the fall, which is really weird. It'll be fun. It will be fun.
Awesome.
You seem like such a supportive mom, Tori, and I want to get your perspective on what you thought when Amelia decided to move to Nashville, and how you feel now, her being there full time, doing music full time.
So it was interesting because like I'm trying to remember like when she kind of like transitioned from like in high school and stuff, she did music and did theater, but like really wasn't thinking like this is what I want to do for my career. Just kind of like, I really like doing this. And she was always very good at it. And then I can't remember exactly like when you kind of transitioned into like, I really wanted like pursue this. And she has always been probably one of the hardest working people I know. Oh, wow. To the extent that we're like, you know, you need to rest, right? Like you have to actually like rest and feed into yourself in order to be the best that you can be. And she's like, yeah. Zoom, you know? And so when she decided to pursue it, we were like, you know what? Go for it. Cause we have always said like, I have no doubt that like you'll make something happen. Like I remember one of the first times that we saw her perform her own songs, like more than just like one or something. And it was like, yeah, that's what she was meant to do. Like, you know, because she was very sciencey and like had done a lot of science and stuff like that during. And so we kind of thought that she would probably go into some kind of like, I don't know, engineering or science, but like more maybe teaching or presentation because she's very good at speaking, and then just kind of do music on the side because she loves it. But then when she went into that, it was like, oh yeah, this is definitely what you were meant to do. And so it was like, you know, hey, as long as you have, you know, the realistic standards of like, you know, you're not aiming for the stars, but if it happens, but you're doing it because you love it and because you just feel like that's in you and you need to do this, great. So
Yeah.
that's really sweet. I'm bold and I'm like, yeah. But yeah, it's just been really fun to watch. And there are times when she like will write a song and I'm just like, okay, how? Like, oh my gosh, you know, like no, seriously, like, I mean, we've talked about that, like, and like her lyrics, you know, and I'm like, and then she'll perform and I'm like, I don't even know how you remember all those words. Well, and then but because she'll be like, did you notice? I'm like, yeah, I kind of noticed that. And I said, but probably I'm the only one because I've heard them so many times.
The issue now is, I mean, it's a good issue to have, but people actually know my lyrics now. And so I'll have people showing up at shows like singing along to, especially the more popular ones, and I'll be messing up the lyrics and they'll be getting it right. And I'm like, whoa!
That's when you just hold the mic out to them, be like, yeah, you
literally, I'm like, yeah, there's the bridge of one of my like more recent releases, which is it's called Therapist Wet Dream. Yeah.
Yep.
She didn't like that. That was gonna be.
I was like, really? That's your title? I was like, she was like, yeah, Mom, fine.
It's catchy.
And I was like, I think, yeah. That was in favor.
No.
But like the bridge, like I'll often mix up one word or something within it because it's just a lot of lyrics all at once.
It's a complicated maze of a bridge. Yeah.
And it's like, I can't blame anybody but myself for that. But
you did it to yourself.
But it's wild to me that people who listen to my stuff can get my lyrics better than I can sometimes. And I'm like, that's just awesome. That's so cool. But I'm like, man, I gotta step it up now. I know. Yeah.
Gotta
run the
They're not playing guitar at the same time. They don't have the spotlight on them.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I'm not thinking about the next 5 songs and
exactly.
Like, you know, what am I gonna say in between? And you know, and is this guy doing his thing and that guy, you know, yeah.
They're just like I split attention. Yeah. But like trying not to be split attention at the same. It's a weird. There's some shows where, you know, I feel like I balance that really well, and then other shows where I'm like, man, I don't feel like I'm like as present as I should be because I'm thinking of all these different logistics or like all the band things happening around. And then I see, you know, somebody over by the bar, like getting rowdy or something. I'm like, I'm looking over there. And
Yeah, it's a
Yup.
weird. Yeah.
There's like this, I don't know, almost like trance that you go in when you're performing, because we perform on the side, even not like, you know, our own stuff, but like
We do
the
covers
classic
at
bar
wineries and
stuff, you know, and I have the lyrics right in front of me and I'm just like, singing the wrong thing because you're in like a weird trance kind of thing. I don't
When
know what
you've
it
done
is.
it happened to me when I played on a cruise ship for like a year with a disco cover band, and there's a certain point where your head can just go anywhere.
Yeah,
when
you're
you've played
like,
those songs 100 times, your brain is not connected to your hands anymore.
But then sometimes you forget and I'm just like, oops.
But then something goes wrong.
Yeah, totally. Sometimes you get. Yeah, like I'll get ironically, like when I'm trying to be especially present with the songs, sometimes that's when I make the most mistakes because I'm not on autopilot.
Right.
I'm trying to like really sit with each line, and I feel like my worst
Yes, I know
mistakes that I make as far
exactly.
as remembering the form are like when I'm like, oh shoot, like what was that next line? I was so like in the moment on this one trying to express it that I'm like, oh no. But luckily it doesn't happen too often or like too noticeably, but there are plenty of times where like, I mean, even on tour on the East Coast, like in March, one of my songs that I've like performed the most that like we've performed like already maybe 8 times on the road, I totally like, missed going into the chorus. And we just vamped on the on the pre-chorus for a bit and brought it back into the chorus. Like, and it is fun to, I mean, it's stressful, but it is cool to have that confidence in both yourself and the band to be like, okay, even if that happens, like we know these songs well enough and can communicate well enough and subtly enough that most people are not going to notice. And even like the photographer / videographer that we had at that show, who's been at several of my shows, I was talking to her about this afterwards, and she was like, "You messed up on Clementine? Like, I didn't know that."
That's
like,
great.
Thank God. Yeah. So that is one plus side of of playing him so many times is just getting comfortable with, like, okay, I have messed this up before. Like, how do I pivot from that?
Right. I always say if you see musicians laughing on stage, something has gone horribly wrong.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Tori, I would love to know, you mentioned like sometimes you hear one of Amelia's songs that just seems especially incredible to you. What's like a standout song? What's your favorite or one that really affected you?
Oh, wow. Like the one that just like, I think stands out a lot to me is Centerpiece because it's such a story. And I think that's also one that like so lyric heavy too. You're telling this story and yet it's so impactful, but it's poetic and yet it's a story at the same time. And I think like I've known so many people who are my age that I hang out with playing pickleball or whatever who are like, I love Centerpiece, you know? And I don't know that I would say that is my favorite song, but I think that's one that definitely like really stands out to me. And I don't know that I would say have a favorite. As they come out, I feel like just the recent ones like maybe become at least for me.
Yep.
Like
Same.
as they come out, I'm like, oh yeah, I love that one, and I play it like crazy. And then like the new one comes out, I'm like, oh, I love that one, you know. And so I don't know that I wouldn't know that I have like a top tier for anything, but like I think Centerpiece definitely has a special place just because of the lyrics and the trajectory of it. And it was like earlier on too. Destroyed the dining room too in the behind that. This was at a point where I was still doing like almost everything myself. It was like the summer that I was releasing the song Centerpiece. I had this idea for a lyrics. It always starts with, I have this idea. Yeah, of course. It's like, I'm going to have it be wide, like, cinematic shot, and then just have it be one take, me setting the table, and then at a certain transitional point in the song, start like smashing everything. But I bought like the plates and stuff.
Good.
And glasses. But it was a very contentious.
Did you lead with that when you told your mom? Or?
Yeah, well, I love with that. But we were like, so this is in our dining room with our dining room table, our hardwood floors, our walls, and we were like, okay, so here's the parameters. There needs to be something on the dining room table. I was like, oh, it's wood. And in the song, like she's like, and now I'm fine. And I'm like, oh my god. You don't see behind the scenes is like plastic all over the floor. And, you know, there was, I think, did we put like cardboard or something, plywood underneath the tablecloth? Because I was like, if you're smashing things on my table, like, no, you know. So yeah,
that
there's
makes
always
a lot of
like
sense.
put back on the creative idea and like, well, practically,
Yeah, how do you do
know,
that without like ruining things?
That's video
I'm like,
production, though. Yeah.
yeah.
It's figuring out how to do that. I want to
super.
know, what was the break for you? I mean, East of Eden seems like the big inflection point as far as releases go.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
spot on.
And what's funny is when I released the sort of an EP, it was still literally just people who had seen me play in person at house shows and farmers markets and stuff. And then it wasn't until like 6 months later, I decided Eastward of Eden's always been one of my favorite originals and still is. Like, I'd still say it's one of the, I mean, even 3 songs that I'm the proudest of writing. And I wrote it like 4 years ago. But yeah, I was like, man, I really think this song deserves a moment and should have a moment. I'm really freaking proud of it, but it just like hasn't hit any traction yet. I think it would be cool to bring it back into the way that I originally wrote it, which was just me on acoustic guitar, like a lot more indie folk kind of style, rather than the EP version, which is very folk rock, electric heavy, which I love as well. And I was like, I think I'm going to record like an acoustic version of it because I feel like that could bring out a lot of different things in the song and then hopefully give it like another chance to gain some listens. And so I released that in, I think, December or January. And it wasn't until like 6 weeks later, I had been like promoting it pretty consistently on TikTok, like after the release. In one video, honestly, the one that I put like the least amount of effort in, I was like, I need to post something.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
So formulaic. It was very like, if you like this, this, and this, then you might like my song about this. And it ended up doing really, really well. And it was the first time I'd had like consistent viewership and stuff, but nothing had really gained much traction. And that video did really, really well. And then from there, the next 2 or 3 weeks of videos also kept doing well. And even when that momentum slowed down, it was still bringing consistent people in. And then I had another kind of moment with a song that I released later that year. And it just kept building on itself, which was super cool. And I was really happy that it started with that song because I think I would still be really sad if like nobody were listening to it. Like that song of the tracks that I had released at that point is still my very favorite of those. And so I was like, yes, people found it. People like it.
That's great.
And still listen to a ton. People still like find it even in the last like month and stuff and really, really like it. And that makes me super happy because it's still like, there's some of my older songs that I'm like, you can ignore that one. Like, I like it, but it's more the, the recording quality and the production at that point.
I know.
And like, I wouldn't say it represents me as well as a writer and an artist now, but that is one that I think I'll always be very proud of. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what my first like little push was. And it was at the same time that I played my first headlining full band show at a venue. And so it felt like a lot of things were just kind of aligning at once. And just, there was a ton of momentum in like that first bit of, I think that was 2023. Was like, yeah, when I first, it was like, okay, there are other people invested in this now beyond just like my in-person circle. I'd only played trips in like Washington and Nashville. And I eventually started spreading that out. And yeah, just kind of kept building from there, which was very, very cool.
That's a song that definitely stood out to us too when we were listening to all of them. And I know I mentioned this to you before, but definitely Jessica Hoop and Jewel were the main influences that I pulled from that specific song. So you still have to listen to Jessica Hoop. But
yes, I do.
And also, I don't know why. And I like Twilight, so take this as a compliment. Like, it feels like it could be on a Twilight soundtrack.
The Twilight soundtrack.
Because it's so good.
Gold.
Oh, the Twilight soundtrack is phenomenal. Yeah. Boney Bear's on there.
Yes. Muse, Paramore. Come on.
Yeah. I'm like, I would take that as a full compliment.
Yeah. I know people are like, controversial about Twilight, but I like it. I watch it all the time and also love the soundtrack. And so I could like totally see you. Like, that vibe totally fits
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What I would get. And
a very
it
specific
takes place
compliment.
in Washington, in Florence, Washington.
There you go. And
All
maybe it's
ties
like
together.
subconsciously in there.
Yeah.
All the rain.
All the rain. I was about to say rain. The rain and the evergreen trees. And like, you look
Vampires.
outside,
Here.
It's like Twilight here right now. Today is so gray and drizzly. It's like, what? Happy summer, June. What is happening? Yeah.
Honestly, here too.
It's
like I was
so
like,
bad
is
here.
it like Forks here? I don't know, but
Yeah.
I want to know: do you use your mom at all for any of your merch or your album covers because she is in graphic design?
I actually have. I've
been very conscious to seek assistance from her, but I still like to do it myself as well. So it's more been like, hey, I want to make this thing happen. Can you help teach me how I can make this thing happen? Cool. And then be able to teach a man to fish.
Yeah. Not the girl to fish. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to think if with some of my earlier like high school stuff, I put on like a benefit concert. I didn't perform in it, but I was, just on the event planning side of things, and you did designs for that stuff. And I'm trying to think, you took the photos for Orange Juice?
Yeah, I did the photography for Orange Juice.
My third song.
Yeah, and then I worked with you on kind of like teaching you how to do the fonts and things for Orange Juice, because you had a very specific idea of what you wanted.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that like we've realized too, is we both have very clear ideas of like how things should be. And we're both very stubborn. And so, sometimes, I think it's actually really good that I have given her some tools and she's got a great eye as well. And then her working with other artists, I think is probably a more healthy thing. Than working with me. And she's got a couple of people that are fantastic, especially one high school friend who is leaps and bounds above me as far as being able to. Jesse's fantastic.
Well, like Jessie is really nice.
Yes, she's an amazing illustrator, and it's like, oh my gosh,
she's got the like icon design.
Yeah, and like go for Jessie on that. And also sometimes her timelines are not my timelines, and so I don't want that to ever be.
Yeah, I think it's wise to keep that separate. I love asking your feedback on things.
I get feedback a lot.
If there is something I want to learn how to do that I haven't been able to figure out, getting your help on that is awesome. But yeah, I do think it's...
You'll often show me things that people have sent you and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like, I'd give this a little bit more space, give this some breathing room, like maybe move this over here. And she's like, yeah, okay, yeah. And and so it's more, I feel like I'm more in the like feedback edit stage of things than in the creation. Yeah. Which I think is like, I think that's a good.
I'm not, I'm paying people that I work with. But like if we're working together, like I'm not, she's not like on commission.
That gets weird. Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
Like timeline on things isn't necessarily going to be the same. And you have priorities,
Yeah. I have just other things.
Exactly. So yeah, that's definitely been something I've been working with like a lot of other graphic designers, but also moving into being more confident in my own design skills. And just also, I really love having cover art be something that's also a physical version as well. Having something that I've painted or collaged, or I don't love how everything's digital now. Like I do think there's a part of me that there's a lot of positives about being an artist in this generation. And I'm super lucky that I learned a lot post-internet rather than having to go through that transition, because that like rocked the absolute core of everything in the music industry.
It was weird.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've talked to a lot of people about that this week in particular, and I'm like, man, to completely uproot everything that you know about the business and just start from scratch. Like I'm feeling even a little disoriented about how AI is being used in and everything. But that's even, at least for the music industry right now, much less of a kind of upheaval than just streaming.
Right. Or TikTok, or I mean, how many like life-changing shifts in the whole industry can we stand?
No, seriously. And I'm like, man, I started putting out music after TikTok was already a thing. I am used to this form. Now I'm like, oh shoot, as I'm seeing the tunnel like further down, I'm like, oh, I'm going to need to be able to be comfortable with changing my habits and patterns as things develop as well. Because that's just gonna keep happening exponentially. I really am sad in a lot of ways that I kind of missed out on a lot of the connection of music to like an actual physical piece of media, because I think there's a much deeper emotional connection oftentimes that you can have with that because you bought it or you like rented it from the library and you've listened through the entire thing. There's a lot more intentionality behind the flow of the entire project and story. I love that. And so I try to, where I can, bring in tactile, like physical elements. And I've really enjoyed doing that with a lot of like cover art and promo stuff, and also doing that myself as well. The last two covers for the songs I put out, Clementine and Mama, I did the cover art for both of those. They're both physical things that I own. I have the Mama collage. I painted it and collaged actual magazine clippings and stuff, and I'm gonna
put it on my wall and stuff. And
so
it's cool to have more than just like a digital file, which is also awesome. But I feel more of a sense of ownership over the entire graphic world of that song because I made that myself and it lives in my space, which is cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's not so, I don't know, business-like if you're, putting it on paper.
Yeah.
It feels more personal. It feels more like an art, and it keeps it in that art category versus like, this is just a business and I'm doing this, Like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I'm going to open up Canva and pop this in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even, like, I can't even with Canva. Like, it's so funny because, like, that came in after, like, I started doing all my stuff and everything. And so somebody's like, oh, have you used Canva? And I'm like, I can try. And ew, yeah.
I remember when Canva came out, and I still think of it like that is the problem. I'm sure it's improved since then, but
it actually, I mean, I know. Oh, was it bad when it first started? Was it really? No, it's just that. I mean, if you're used to using like Illustrator and InDesign and all of those, you go to Canva and it's so completely different. It's such a different platform, and it was very simple, and it was for people who weren't graphic designers who needed to make like a flyer, a poster, or something. And they've since added a ton of tools and enhancements and things like that. And I was just like, no, I can't go there. I'm like,
and you don't need to. You don't need to. Exactly.
Yeah, except that I was working with people who wanted then, can you just create a Canva file and pop it over? Because I was volunteering or something, and I was like, no. Sorry, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, you can create the Canva file. I'm like, I can give you the ideas. And then, I'm like, no, I'm not going to, I don't want to do that. So, valid. So, but it's a fantastic tool for people who, I mean, you don't want to pay for Adobe products too, you know? I mean, it's an investment. Yeah.
Amelia, we've talked about TikTok a lot throughout this. I would love to know your strategy for marketing, say, your release cycle this year with the 3 tracks you've put out so far, Songwriter, Mama, and then Clementine Trilogy. Yeah. How far ahead did you plan that? How much did TikTok factor into that? And timing-wise, just everything in there. I'd love to know because it was executed like so well.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that because, it's a lot of work on the back end. Honestly, like, I mean, you guys get this as being artists as well and also running this podcast. It feels like the majority of my time I spend on content and on promo and marketing and stuff, especially right now with like not having a team. Like, it really is all on me. Yeah. Even the stuff that is very tedious or not really in my skill set, it's like, well, I gotta learn how to do it and I gotta make it happen because it's much more expensive to hire somebody else right now. Yeah, as far as the release schedule, I've had it planned out for a good while. Going into 2025, I had kind of a draft layout of when certain things were going to be happening throughout the year. And last year, I was focusing a lot on live shows and originally wanted to have that Clementine Trilogy actually out in the fall. And then some not fun things happened in the fall for me that is now going to be the basis of my whole next album cycle. So there's that, which is
that's good, and I'm sorry.
I know.
Thanks. Yeah, that's one of the pluses with being an artist is when terrible things happen,
great art.
Yeah, it's like it's more than just like I've learned a lesson and my perspective on the world has shifted. It's like, I actually can make something out of this and have it be cathartic. So I'll just say, Clementine Trilogy, the songs were like pretty much done for a good bit. And top of the year, I was in a generally, better headspace, a lot more motivated, and had a lot of inspiration for upcoming stuff as well. And so, I had the months pretty much set out from the beginning, and a lot of the promo ideas already just kind of roughly set out for each song. But it does depend on the week and how much else is going on during the week. Like during touring time, I needed to film a bunch of stuff beforehand and get that ready for when I'm on the road. Like, I was driving myself most of the time. And so I didn't have hardly any time to even like just keep afloat of my emails. Because it's like when I'm parked, like we're sound checking and then we're playing the show and then we're loading out and then we're, sleeping on somebody's couch. It's like there was hardly any, not even like downtime, but time to like work on online stuff. And so sometimes it does feel like, just really staying afloat in each moment, being like, oh shoot, what am I going to post today? I need to throw something together. And then there are other weeks where I have a ton of ideas taken down and then I spend like hours filming stuff and I have like a ton of things to edit together. I have it all like planned out already for like the next 2 weeks roughly. So
Sounds nice.
that's the ideal.
I'm always in the staying afloat camp. I have been for several years now.
Oh, most of the time I am as well. Yeah. Definitely. But I have found it really helpful when I am in a mood to film to just really lean into that and just like keep going on filming content and ideas for as long as I have that energy, because then I'll have maybe enough stuff filmed for like 5 different videos to edit. And on days it feels very, very social. I mean, ironic social media. Who would have thought? But it's like,
it was clever.
Yeah, it's like even if you're not talking to anyone directly, you're just talking to your phone. Like it is performance, and it is like that,
draining,
spending energy. And there are days where I'm like, I don't want to talk to hardly anybody. Yeah. So that's when I hopefully have stuff that I can just edit instead of feeling the need to like, shoot, I need to go and film something that's
hard energy.
Yeah. And so like when I have that and when I'm like motivated and excited about that, I actually have a lot of fun doing it, especially when I have like a backlog of stuff where it's not, oh, I need to get this done right away. It's like, oh, I can just like mess around and have ideas, and the next 2 hours, maybe I only have like one thing filmed, but I had a ton of fun like messing around with stuff and really love what I got. That's kind of the mode I like operating from. But as always, like it's not not often the reality.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But just like what your mom said when she was playing piano, it was like when practicing became a burden and it wasn't fun anymore, she didn't want to do it and wanted to take a step back. And you don't want that to be, in your career that you love doing. So finding a way that works for you, I think that's awesome that you found that, because you don't want it to turn into that.
Yeah. And I definitely feel that often, honestly. Like the burnout is, even with how early I am into my career, like I definitely have like
believe you just graduated college. That's insane. You have several tracks with over 1 million streams. That's amazing. So amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of multitasking while in school and learning. I've always been very, my brain is very like spaghetti like.
Oh yeah, same.
I'm also very type A, which it like kind of wars with each other. But all to say, it was definitely like the last couple of years of college, a transition of being like, okay, I feel the need to be perfect in my academics and like do all the right things. But actually, what will serve my career better, like what I really, really want to do, is to still get my academic stuff done, generally, but not hold myself to the standard of like doing as best as I possibly can if I'm putting every
single thing.
Yeah. And so like, it's okay to not get all A's. In fact, it's actually wiser to kind of let that like perfectionism in that side of my life go a bit, to be able to really put in the time that I need to keep the momentum of this going. And so that was like so antithetical to how I'd operated up until that point. But it was really like, I feel so freaking lucky that when I graduated, I wasn't at, a point of being full-time a musician, but I had like this semblance of a career already. And I had like listenership and people who would come see me in cities that I hadn't ever played in before.
That's awesome.
So cool.
And that's so cool, because graduating is such an untethering thing, regardless of where you're at coming out of it, that I was like, okay, I at least know a little bit of what's going on. I at least have some direction going into all this. But it's very disorienting. It's still, I feel like I'm starting to get a handle on things.
Seems like you're doing it really well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm realizing like, oh, that's everyone. That's like, there's no point. Like, I was like, when I graduate, like I'll have everything figured out and I'll be such an adult. Or in high school, I was like, when I start college, like I'll be, this really put together college student.
We're like, no, but it never happens.
Yes.
Like, that.
Like, adulting, it's always hard. Yeah.
So that's definitely been like, it's one thing to know that consciously, but then to live it and be like, oh, I am having these conversations with people that are 25 years older than me at least, and they still think about things very similarly as I do, and process things similarly, which is in some ways a little scary. In some ways, I think really really heartening to know like, oh, we're all in the
okay.
in the
like it should be a relief though too, to be like, oh,
Yeah.
No, it's not
just me.
It's not just like, oh, you just don't have it figured out. It's like none of us have it figured out.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like we're all just doing the best we can. Like you were saying, you know, everybody's just people, you know, and we all have our different things, and we're all just trying to figure it out, and things change, and then you're like, oh, okay, now we're figuring this out, you know.
Yeah.
So
Going through that right now. Like
Yeah.
at 33,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I
you're still
don't want to
figuring
be
out a
in
lot.
insurance, right? And I've done it for 11 years. Like, how do
she
I
might quit her job
completely
this
uproot
week.
my life and do some? Yeah, truly. Might quit this week, but like, yeah, trying to completely uproot it and figure out something else. It's like graduating college all over again and trying to find something that I didn't study to do. So I don't know.
Yeah. But
Everyone's-
then you're like, you know, why, you know, do you then just stick in it for another 5 years and then be like, oh, I wish I'd done this 5 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
like, how do I move on and go forward unless you find something that you enjoy?
There's a lot to
You're
figure out.
always figuring out life is what I'm realizing is that like you never have it figured out. And you're just like going to have to constantly change things. And because life is always changing. But
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Amelia, what is something in the next 3 to 5 years? What is one big, huge project you would love to make happen?
Oh, the biggest thing I can think of. I mean, I would love more than anything to like, and this is like a big, you know, who knows if this is going to be feasible in that
That's
time
good.
frame. But
What is it?
But oh my God, to tour internationally would be so cool. And more than just, I am pretty sure that I'll end up over in the UK within that time frame. But like to be able to tour like across Europe and countries that I've never been to just on my own, but play shows there and have people there and people speaking in other languages and kind of learning some of that as well. Like that would be the absolute dream. I love playing shows and exploring different cities and cultures when I have gotten to. Even in the US, I mean, like, it's wild to me how different each state is. And I've loved getting to, like, I've been in most of the states by this point, like really
That's
gotten
cool.
to like at least explore parts of it. And yeah, I just love people watching and I love just seeing the architectural differences and everything. So I'm like, that would be so cool. So cool. But yeah, I think when I started into all of this, I was just at a point where I had no idea what being a professional musician would even look like. And I had no idea even what I saw for myself in that, where I wanted to be. I just knew like I wanted to do this. I wanted to make music. I didn't even really want to perform at first. That's a really bad stage fright. And now it's, I mean, obviously that's now my dream of all the dreams to perform everywhere. But yeah, I had awful stage fright starting out and I just loved writing and I was really proud of my writing, really proud of the recording. I really did enjoy like the arranging process already. I didn't even know enough to have a vision for like, this is the kind of artist I want to be, or this is like the level of artist I want to be. I'm like, just anything. Like, I don't even know how to do any of this. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, yeah, I really do want to be at a level where my music is known and I'm performing to larger and larger crowds. And there's definitely a limit to that, to which I think to be like famous is terrifying and horrible in so many ways.
There's a good middle ground. Yeah.
But I definitely
with a life.
Yeah, I definitely have more aspirations in that sense than I did when starting out. I'm like, oh, I actually have a career right now. And I want to go further than I think I would have anticipated as far as like how, you know, many people might listen to my music or how many places that I might go to play shows, which is cool, which is different. And that's honestly really only come in the last like couple years that I've had more of that direction, which kind of seeps into everything really. It's very motivating. Only to a point where it is healthy. You know, there's obviously people take that way too far.
Yeah. Indie's always best. I love indie artists.
Mm-hmm.
They're my favorite. I mean, you could like tell my whole wall is full of like indie
we
stuff,
got
like
Lawrence,
Mel.
Oh my gosh,
Totally
I love Lawrence. I love Lawrence.
But I love indie artists. And you're already up there with them. Like
You are.
you sound
Oh my God.
just as good as any of them. And they tour out of the country all the time. So if they can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely.
That's the dream. And to be able to do that while still maintaining a lot of autonomy and like full control over like how I'm expressing myself and what art that I am putting out there. And obviously, you know, if you're entering into a business with anybody, it does need to become more collaborative. And I'm like, man, my worst nightmare is to be putting out something or performing in a way that is just like inauthentic to me. I'm like,
I don't ever see you doing that.
I don't either.
I don't think,
not even.
I don't think there'd ever be a need for you to do that. You found success with no industry support whatsoever, and you have several huge hit songs. I think independent artists have such a wide road right now, and I think
It's really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And that's another reason I'm like, man, there's obviously a lot of crappy stuff about social media and the need to also be like an influencer while you're trying to be an artist. Those work against each other, really. But I wouldn't be able to do this right now if I unless I were like signed to a label somehow. And then I wouldn't have the control. Any kind of any significant control over what I'm putting out. I'm like, that is so scary to me. Yeah. I'm like, man.
One of the things that resonates with so many people about you and your music is the authenticity that you have with it.
Thanks.
And also, I don't know if you guys have seen any of her performance videos like on YouTube or anything like that, but and it's on Instagram and stuff too. But like, I just remember at one of your last shows in Seattle where we had friends who have known her entire life. It was Riley.
Okay. I was here. Yeah. I was like,
we're sitting next to each other, and Riley's like a year younger. Well, not even a year younger. A few months younger than Amelia. And she goes, it's so crazy. She's like, I look up there and she's performing, and she goes, and I'm like, I see little Amelia, like that I grew up with still too, And it was just like,
she told me that. Riley
told you that.
I know, but I need to try Riley.
Yeah. But I mean, but that's so true, because it's like what you see on stage is who she is. And it's not like there's no like performer Amelia and Amelia. That's who she is. And I don't think that will ever change, because that's just you. And I think authenticity is a very important quality and value to you in your life, like for your music, for the people that you surround yourself with, and what you seek in life. And so I think that's what people are really drawn to also. So
that makes me very happy. Because I'm sure there'll be points where I'm like tempted to enter into something because it's like, I have these connections, or I have, here's what we'll fund your project with, or whatever it may be. But I know that that's going to be just soul crushing to not have that control over the story that I'm trying to tell. Yeah. And I think that's the life behind why I even want to do this in the first place. I'm like, if you take away that, then I don't want this at all, really.
Don't worry, I'll throw a cat at you and remind you who you are.
Oh, wow.
Throw that on a t-shirt.
That's how it is, yeah.
It's merch.
We have three. We have three cats, so there's plenty to go around.
Good.
Yeah. My brother and I are out of town. Yeah. My mom and dad are outnumbered by cats.
Yeah.
As they should be.
I mean, there are worse things in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Certainly. Well, thank you both so much for joining us. This was so wonderful.
Yeah.
We've never done anything like
Yeah, we haven't, right? She asked me and I was like, okay.
It's chill. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. He's like, you'll be fine. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know. And I was like, do I need to prep anything? And she's like, no, just talk.
Yeah. Like you know more than anybody else would on this subject matter. Yeah. You've been stuck with it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Almost
23.
Yeah. Years. Here you go.
That's why we do this.
Another Tori.
It gets such a cool perspective.
Another Tori.
Yes. Our first two-Tori episode.
I love how close you guys seem. Like, it really comes off on camera, like, that you guys are just super close. And it's something that not everyone has. And I think it's, like, really admirable. And, like, I love it.
I do feel very lucky to have the relationships that I have with my family, because the older that I've gotten and the more that like friends have kind of self-reflected on their own family dynamics or more open about that stuff, I'm like, man, I really do have it very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for being cool again.
Okay. Remember that next time you're mad.
I know. Yeah. Like, whenever I said that, you're like,
it's recorded, right?
We have the recording here.
Yeah, right.
We'll send it to you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Amelia and Tori. Everyone streamed the Clementine trilogy. It's fantastic. Especially Mama's my favorite track. I love it. They're all great. But Mama's so good.
That one's it's so fun.
It's so fun.
So cool.
It's so fun to like rock out in your heart too.
Yes.
Do you do that?
I do.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you like this episode, you can find us online at Relatively In Tune Pod. Please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, I've been Dean DeMarzo.
And I'm Tori DeMarzo.
This is Relatively in Tune. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. So that wraps up our interview with Amelia Day and her mother, Tori. Thank you to both of them for joining us, and thank you guys for listening. I want to talk for a second about this wonderful merch I'm sitting here with. And the only reason I have it and Tori doesn't is because hers hasn't come in the mail yet. So I get to enjoy this incredibly comfortable shirt.
Yeah, it's super soft.
I cannot stress enough how much this is. And this is like,
soft.
honestly, it's not even fair. And my fans don't listen to this, but it's so much softer than the shirts I feel like I've gotten. I don't know why. They're both.
It's from the same company.
The same blank.
Yeah.
I got to see which one you picked. So yeah, super ridiculously comfy. Go to our merch store, which is linked, will be linked in the show notes down below. You can go to relativelyintunepod.com, which will bring you to our website with all our information, including our merch on it, including this shirt, as well as some mugs, pins. There's a sweatshirt on there.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of amazing merch. This is the logo that my sister, Julia DeMarzo, designed. And then Tori used it to design all this awesome merch and the website. You did a wonderful job with everything.
I don't like the website, but
I do.
it's just, it came with the merch.
So be sure to check out our merch store, our website. Be sure to rate us 5 stars on Apple Music and Spotify podcasts. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of these places. I feel like that list gets longer every single time I say it. Find us where you like to listen to podcasts or consume content.
And also leave a comment of who you want to see on the show. I don't know that I've said that on the podcast, but I do post it on our social media page a lot. So if you could just comment wherever, comment on social media, comment on Spotify, or really anywhere that you could comment. You can also, if you want to support the podcast, there's a donation spot on the website if you want to do that. So you could donate and put a little suggestion, whatever you want to do, or however you want to do that.
Thank you guys so much for listening. I've been Dean DeMarzo.
And I'm Tori DeMarzo.
This is Relatively in Tune. Thank you, and we will see you next time.